Well, since everybody's quiet, my goodness, thank you very much. I want to welcome and thank you all for being here. A very special thanks to Beaver Ranch Park for their community support of tonight's town hall meeting. And I'd also like to thank Conifer Jazzercise for providing bottled water. Please help yourself. And Sharon Trove of My Mountain Town for videotaping the meeting. And I think we may even have some live streaming tonight of the meeting. So we do know that several community members are at the Planning Commission hearing, the continuous hearing tonight regarding Conifer Heights. And we're so glad that they're there. But we knew we needed to go ahead with the meeting tonight, especially since we canceled last week. And we have so much great information to share. So thank you all for coming out tonight. As always, our speakers have been asked to present just the facts, not in support or in opposition to any development or anything else. And most of you have been here many times. I see some new faces though. So there will be no campaigning, no questions or comments during the presentations. And then at 8 o'clock, you'll have your chance to talk to any of the presenters here during our open house segment. So, wow, what's going on around here? Obviously, there's a lot going on around here. So you're going to hear about a lot tonight. First of all, I'd like to introduce Melanie Swearingen, who is the director of the Conifer Area Chamber of Commerce. Melanie.
Thank you. Good evening. First off, we have a lot of things going on right now. With the Chamber, we're getting ready. We're in the lull of events, so we finished up with 285 Winterfest a couple weeks ago. We are getting ready for our directory season. We have our annual awards. We have all kinds of bringing on new board members. There's a lot going on right now at the Chamber. The annual awards is coming up on March 21st. And somebody, I wanted to list off the businesses and the individuals that have been nominated this year. So the Rookie of the Year award, the nominees are Blizzard Mountain Pinball, Page Turner Bookstore, The Helping Handyman, The Pizza Joint, and Hands on Fire. And then the home-based businesses are Betsy Wilking, she's a CPA, Ride Need a Ride, Pinecam.com, Painters Plus, and Dana Johansson with Connect Home Builders. The Business of the Year, the nominees are Ingle Nook Energy, Red Rocks Toffee, Southern View Sound and Music, Little Britches and Conifer Physical Therapy. The Nonprofit of the Year, the nominees are Bootstraps, Senior Resource Center, Conifer Historical Society, Peaceworks, and LifeBridge Food Pantry. The Ambassador of the Year, which the ambassador is a chamber member that has really done a lot of volunteering and helping with the chamber and getting businesses connected. Chrissy Bolger with Healthy Smiles, Lauren Drabble with Page Turner Bookstore, Jane Parker with the Fairy Dust Mother, Jennifer Doherty with Natural Advantage Wellness, June McKenzie with Remax Alliance, and Angela Bassano, who's not here tonight because she's hurt her ankle, unfortunately. But we have an extra special timekeeper tonight to stand in for her, so thanks for coming for that. The Norman F. Meyer Citizen of the Year award, the nominees are Denise Bromberger with Image Marketing Specialist, Stephen Janice Brooks with Brooks Place Tavern, Shirley Johnson with Conifer Area Council, Wayne Parkinson with Friends of Staunton State Park, and Armin and Donna Prescott with Impact Christmas Lighting. So congratulations to them. The voting has closed on that. We had the ballot, or the voting up on the website, but that's been closed. The awards, we will announce the winners. That's on March 21st. Tickets are available on our website. $35. Castles and Kitchens is catering, and we have an improv group coming, so that'll be a fun evening out. The next thing up that's coming up is the Elevation Celebration, July 27th and 28th. We are starting to accept vendors, so if anybody has any craft vendors that would like to sign up for that, go to our website. Applications are due May 1st, and then we will fill up the vendor spots and go from there. That is all I have. You're going to talk about the Yellow House later that we're super excited about, but I'll save that for later. And that's it for me.
Thanks, Melanie. Yes, please give the chamber a good round of applause. They do so much. Thank you. Okay, so obviously since we did have to change dates for this town hall meeting, a couple of the speakers were not able to make it. But we have a report from Staunton State Park. Zach Taylor, the park director, actually gave that to us. And Susie Nelson, one of our directors, is going to read that to you. Susie.
Okay, this is from Staunton State Park. They are accepting applications for seasonal positions for entrance attendants, park rangers, and maintenance technicians. Entrance staff and maintenance age requirements are 16 plus. The rangers must be over 21 years old. They'll be holding they're going to open their new visitor center in May. We moved in starting February 1st and are working to get the place ready for the public. Camping in our 25 hike-in tents campsites is available and open for reservations. Now, I was a little confused when I read this. The reservation window is day of, up to 6 months in advance. So you'll have to check with them or on their website for further clarification. They will be starting construction on a public archery range this summer. Also, wildlife officers will be holding a Hunting 101 clinic in July with the goal of educating those that might be interested in hunting or just wanting to learn more about hunting. They can now process OHV, boat, and snowmobile registrations. So if you have a machine and need to register it, they can help. And that's it.
Thanks, Susie. So Susie lives right next to the park, so she has a vested interest in Staunton State Park. So she was the perfect one to do that. So next, we have Peggy Catlin with RTD. She's our RTD director, and she has a PowerPoint, just a very short one. And Peggy, here you go.
Thank you. It's always nice to come up here. There are so many interested citizens every time I've been here, so thanks again for having me. There are a couple things going on. I can go over them. I'll get to these slides in a minute, but there are a couple of updates I wanted to make you aware of. RTD joined with CDOT and Dr. Cobb, I know a lot of acronyms, and then the Denver Chamber of Commerce to come up with something called a mobility choice blueprint. And that was unveiled a couple of weeks ago, and it's really kind of an exciting time because it's really examining technology and how we can partner better in the metro area and leverage some of our resources, particularly as we advance in mobility and technology. So that's been launched, and I would encourage you to look at it. There will also be an outreach process and the ability for citizens to become involved. Another thing we did was launch our autonomous shuttle out by the Denver airport with Panasonic. That's a driverless shuttle, and it goes at low speeds, but it's a test track for driverless shuttles, and we're pretty excited about that. We are launching our new plan that is really going to take a very, very detailed look at our existing bus and rail service. We have been focusing on the Fast Trucks project, which is the rail completion plan, but the bus service and the operations and the overall plan has not really been delved into for a number of years. So we are issuing a request for proposal for consultants to bid on that, and that will be about a 2-year process, but it's really time that we look at optimizing some of our services. So that's starting. There will also be opportunity for citizen involvement and outreach on that, and I think these communities up in the mountains really, really deserve to have a voice at that table. So if you're interested, let us know. Finally, this particular one, I know a lot of people have heard newscasts and updates about the opening of the G line and the A line, and that's what these slides are showing. If you could advance to the next one. One more. The G line has, as many of you know, which goes through Arvada and Wheat Ridge, has been slated to open for more than 2 years, but because of the regulatory requirements of the Public Utilities Commission as well as the Federal Railroad Administration, we've been unable to get quiet zone waivers and a number of other things to open it. But the good news is that the Federal Railroad Administration has completed its review and has given us all of our waivers. So now we're just waiting on the Public Utilities Commission, and we're going into revenue demonstration service on the G line. So we are really, really hopeful that within the next couple months we'll be able to open the G line next service. And then we're continuing to work with, as I said, with PUC to get other regulatory approvals. But the good news is that the horns on the A line that were really irritating a lot of the community in Denver, those are now gone, and so that's been a long time coming as well. Next slide, please. Another really exciting thing is that we launched our mobile ticketing application, and you can download this on your phone, and rather than go to a kiosk, or you can actually download the app. A screenshot of it is here, and you can download any of your tickets, whether it's a bus ticket or you want to ride to DIA. You can do that all from your phone right now. So it's really kind of an exciting time, and we're moving ahead with technology. So I have some handouts of these brief slides here with me, especially if you're interested in that download app and that screenshot. If you're interested, then I'm happy to share that with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Peggy. Okay, next we have Steve Harrelson with CDOT. So he is going to give us a little bit of an update. Steve.
Thanks, Shirley. Couple of project updates. The first is the Kings Valley interchange. We've been working on that design. We've got a good conceptual layout, and we've done some cost estimates. It looks like we've secured about 70% of the construction funding, so it's eligible from a benefit cost analysis. That's I think we're close enough. We're going to proceed with go to final design. Going to start looking at the right-of-way needs and right-of-way acquisition, and then hopefully in a year or so we will have that in place, and we can find that last little bit. We're exploring some partnership agreements with Jefferson County and some other funding sources within CDOT to make that last little bit, but we're moving in the right direction, so I think that project's going to become real. The second project is just about to start construction. It is some waterproofing on the bridges on 285 right out here between Myers Ranch and, well, not quite to Conifer Town Center. Those bridges were built about 20 years ago, and with the young engineers that work in my office, I tease them that when you're rehabilitating bridges that you built, that's how you know you're old. And I helped build those bridges when they were first built, so I'm officially old. The gray hair doesn't mean anything. It's the fact that I'm working on bridges that I originally built. So that work is, I saw the traffic control was getting set right now. I think it's supposed to start in the next couple weeks. It's going to be about 2.5 months of work. What they're doing is going to put waterproofing membrane on the structures. If you've driven underneath them, you've probably seen icicles coming through. That's bad. Whenever you get water in on the concrete, it attacks the concrete. So we're trying to be proactive in putting a waterproofing membrane down to stop that. That's really the only projects I've got going on in this quarter. We've had a very exciting few days at CDOT. I don't think it's impacted the 285 corridor, but we have had avalanches all over the Central Rockies, some of which had not run for over 60 years. There was one on Berthoud Pass that covered the road that had not covered the road since 1957. Interstate 70 was closed for 9 hours yesterday with the Mount Bethel avalanche that covered the road for the first time since 1983 and only the second time since we built the interstate through there in the late 60s. There was another one in Leadville where I grew up that came down at Twin Lakes. It had not covered the road there since 1962. So it was I don't know if you realize just how historic and epic the storm was last weekend in that it dumped 3 feet of snow, so quickly, it made some of these avalanches. It was like a 50-year event, I think. So I know that's not 285 related, but if you're an avalanche geek, enjoy. Well, that's all I have.
Thank you, Steve. So next, Peter Barkman is going to come up. He is chairing the Conifer Area Council Water Committee, and he just wanted to have a couple words. Peter.
Yeah, thank you, Shirley. Last year, we formed a water committee with two objectives. One is to educate ourselves and help educate the community. We had a seminar last fall that was very well attended. We'll probably do some more things like that as time goes on. We're meeting monthly and having topical discussions on different subjects. We just had a meeting last week to learn about advanced wastewater treatment systems. Prior to that, we had planning and zoning come and give us an explanation of their water availability analysis. I'm hoping in the next month or two, we may skip a month because a month from now is going to be the commissioners' hearing on the Conifer Heights. I don't think we want to try to have a meeting at the same time as that. So we're going to, the following month, I'm going to try to bring a lawyer or somebody with expertise in the legal issues of water and try to learn more on what really the details are of well interference, what constitutes injury, what do we need to know as we see the possibility of developments. We're working with the county and the state. We'd like to see as a committee that the right data are being collected, looked at, and interpreted with real sound science to understand what is the state of our groundwater resource up here. We need to know what's going on right now, and we need to be able to be ready if developments come in, that we know that the data are being collected so we understand what's happening. So if you're interested in this, there's a sign-up sheet in the back. I send out emails once a month announcing meetings and if things are coming up. So I hope if you're interested, please join in.
Thank you, Peter. And I think we all know that there is a lot of interest in water. So far at the Conifer Heights Development Planning Commission hearing, the first one was a lot about water. So there's a lot of concerns. So the more we can educate ourselves, understand it, and see if there really is water availability, the more impact we can have on the development happening up here. So another thing that's happening, and another thing that people are concerned about, is wildfires. And maybe some of you have seen the signs that there are controlled burns going on. And this is a good year for that because we've got a lot of snow. Well, we were supposed to have the U.S. Forest Service here tonight, but they were not able to make it because we changed the meeting. But Susie Nelson is going to read an email that I got from them today explaining a little bit what's going on with that. Susie.
And this is from James Pilsmaker, a fuels technician with the Forest Service. To date, we have burned approximately 6,500 slash piles for 900 acres of national forest here on the South Platte. It's been a good year with the weather cooperating, and in spite of the 35-day shutdown, our success in large part is due to our partnership with the Mile High Youth Corps. They've provided us with 20 AmeriCorps volunteers who are eager to get out and learn about managing public lands. They've been a huge help. We have also worked with North Fork and Elk Creek Fire Departments who have both provided us with staff. The majority of these piles have been around the communities of Buffalo Creek and Spring Creek Ranch along Highway 126. We have also been very successful burning the piles around the community of Bailey in our Payne Gulch project. We hope to continue weather dependent in these areas, but also moving over into Douglas County near Bennett and Bear Mountain in the coming weeks. We also have a lot of piles along the South Platte River corridor near Ouzel, Osprey, and Nighthawk. They're busy.
Thanks, Susie. So, according to our survey, the three things that you all are most concerned about are water, wildfire, and maintaining our small town rural community. So next we have Mike Madrid with Jefferson County Planning and Zoning, and he's going to talk about all of the different developments that are kind of in the planning phases up here. Conifer Heights isn't the only one, so Mike.
Thank you, Shirley. Quick presentation. So tonight's agenda, I think you were given a list of active land use cases in the Conifer 285 area. If you don't have one, I'm at a table in the back, just right in that direction, and I have the packets for you. It's a list of 26 cases that are currently active in the Conifer area, and I'm going to go through a couple of them with you right now. The numbers that appear on the slides correspond with the number on the list that they are. So going over a couple cases, there are 26 cases tonight, or just going actively currently right now, planning and zoning. We have one new pre-application to go over, 2 community meetings to go over, and 2 updates on a couple of other formal cases and 3 other formal cases. So what I'm going to go over first is they're called pre-applications. So when you look at the case number on each of these cases, they have a little letter designation, either CMT or PA or RZ. Those are all different case types. I'm going to go over just very quickly what each one of those mean and what they are in terms of what type of case they are. So if you see a case with PA, that's called a pre-application meeting. What these are just informational meetings with potential applicants who would like to potentially move into a formal case, whether it be a rezoning, a site development plan, or a plat. It kind of gives them an idea just right off the bat. Do they want to move forward with this? Do they want to purchase the property to try to go through the development process? We give them a lot of upfront information as to whether or not that might be a good idea, whether or not it complies with the comprehensive master plan and other things like that. There's no public notice for these because they're just informational meetings with staff, and no decisions are made during the actual pre-application meeting. And about 40 or 50% of them don't come back to actually apply for a formal application. So the first one is number 9 on your list, is 6856 High Drive. This is for 21 acres of land being platted into 3 lots, all of them having a minimum lot size of 5 acres because the property is zoned A1. The plan recommendation does not apply to plats, so this is a pre-application for a potential plat or subdivision of land. So dividing land into smaller pieces just has to comply with the minimum lot size of the underlying zoning. The zoning on this property being A1, minimum lot size of 5 acres, so 21 acres into 3 lots should be doable in this area. Going over community meetings, these are cases on your list that say CMT after the case number. These are the first step in the rezoning case, in the rezoning process, should I say. The formal application for rezoning can't happen until an applicant holds a community meeting in your area. This one, public notice is sent out via postcard. There are signs posted on the proposed site for notice, and the applicant ultimately holds the meeting. A representative from planning and zoning, usually the case manager for that case, does attend and is there to answer any process questions, but mainly it's there for the applicant to kind of introduce their project to the community and get feedback from the surrounding neighborhood or area before they actually jump into a rezoning process. So the first one on our list is number 1 on your list, which is east of 285, next to the Safeway. You can kind of see the outline. I don't know if I'm in anyone's way. This is, let's see, 69.94 acres. The community meeting was held on January 28th at 6 p.m. at Conifer High School. Plan recommends residential use of maximum 4 homes per acre in this area. So that's the density recommendation for this area. The proposal moving forward or looking to move forward, I don't know if this will actually come back. It's sort of like pre-apps where they don't actually apply for the rezoning, but it's one of the first steps they take, was to rezone to allow 275 units, and this is the Safeway over off of Light Lane. You can see the map right there. Next case is number 8796 Mickamine Gulch, rezoning to modify the existing camp uses on the property. It's 144 acres. This community meeting is scheduled for March 19th. That's going to be held at the Inner Canyon Fire Department. Plan recommendation for this area is, again, 4 dwelling units per acre. So going into some rezoning cases, this is a change of the allowed uses that are on the property. It's a change of the zoning that governs what uses can be done on each property. You start with a community meeting at first, and then you go into your formal application afterward. These cases are heard in front of the Planning Commission and in front of the Board of County Commissioners, similar to the one that's going on tonight, which is number 20 on your list, is the Conifer Heights case. That's currently the Planning Commission tonight in Golden. If the case does not get continued, it will be heard at the Board of County Commissioners hearing on March 26th. That's a Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. That's also held at the county building in Golden. This is a rezoning to allow 101 single-family attached residential lots. The plan recommendation for this area is residential, office, and community use. Next one on our list is Red Wing Park Official Development Plan, or ODP. This is at 10811 County Highway 73. This is right near 285 and Kitty Drive. This is a rezoning to allow limited commercial uses on the red outlined property right there. Community meeting was held on May 17, 2017, and they're going through the first steps of the rezoning process just currently right now. Plan recommends limited commercial and residential uses. Rezoning number 19 on our list is 18051 County Road 126. This is the Blue Jay Inn property. This is to rezone 1.7 acres of that property to become a bed and breakfast. The community meeting was held on January 9th. First comments have been sent back to the applicants. That's the back and forth between staff and the applicants in terms of getting the written restrictions where they are enforceable and where they actually make sense for the applicant to do what they would like to do with the property. Plan recommends an area of stability over here, which is in keeping with the character of the surrounding area. Moving into site development plans, these are cases on your list that have SD after the case number. These uses are already established by right by the zoning. It's just the process that a commercial, industrial, or multi-family structure has to go through before obtaining a building permit. We review things like parking and landscaping and the architecture of the building and drainage on the site and earthwork, things like that. This is an administrative process, so unlike a rezoning that goes to the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners, this one is handled by the Director of Planning and Zoning should their project meet all of the zoning and land development requirements. We'll go back to the Blue Jay Inn because it's going concurrently at the same time as the rezoning, so they have already applied for the site development plan as well to allow for that bed and breakfast at that property. Conifer Self-Storage, just down the street from here, 9529 Davis Avenue. You probably drove by it on the way here. It's a site development plan to construct additional mini storage structures on the property. It's 1.7 acres and it's currently in its first referral right now. The case manager's names and phone numbers and emails are all listed under each case. I will try my best to answer any questions you have tonight about any of these cases. If I don't have any specific information on these cases, please do contact the case manager listed on the paper right here, and they'll be glad to answer any more specific questions you have. I will be open for questions after all of the presentations are over tonight at that table in the back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike. There is a lot going on around here, right? So I'd like to introduce Leslie Dalkemper, our commissioner. Go ahead.
Hello, Conifer Area Council. How are you tonight? Doing well. I know that we have a very important meeting going on before the Planning and Zoning Commission this evening, and we just heard from Mike Madrid on a number of the cases. I want you to know that as county commissioners, as I'm 2 months on the job, we move into a quasi-judicial role whenever a land case is active. However, I read everything that you send to us, If you feel strongly one way or the other on this case, I would like to hear from you. And I also share it with our fellow Board of County Commissioners, and we make sure that it also ends up in the case file as well. So I just wanted to share that with you. I wanted to take a moment to recognize our county coroner who's with us tonight, Annette Cannon. If you could stand up or wave hello. Please take a moment to say hello to Annette if you have any questions at all for her. I know she'd love to talk with you. We're going to start out tonight with a pop quiz because I have a little bit of Jeffco swag, but don't expect a lot of this in the future as we're looking at budget reductions in 2020. But first, I wanted to ask you, who can answer this question for me? And you get a nice water bottle out of the deal. In 2019, Jeffco will turn how old? How old will Jefferson County be this year? Anyone have any guesses?
150.
60.
60. Yeah. Little older than that. I heard something in 150.
150.
135. Higher? Did I hear 150?
Yes.
Okay, a little bit more.
Wow.
I know my time's getting
60.
even. 158 years old. So who came in closest to 158 years old? All right, here's your water bottle, so don't let me forget to come on up. We have one more. This fun fact is really cool. Roads and Bridge, our Road and Bridge Department reuses what percent, congratulations, yes, of asphalt that is removed from the roads? Road and Bridge reuses what percentage of the asphalt that's removed from roads? Any guesses?
85.
Who said 100% first? Wow, man, I need more water bottles. Well, I've got two, I'll promise, I'll get you another one. You're absolutely right, it's 100%. It's a great example of sustainability efforts in our county and also cost savings as well. I actually have another one in the car, so don't go far. Wonderful, well thank you all. I also want you to know that no one goes home a loser tonight in terms of not getting a door prize, because I have these great handouts for you about Jefferson County, how to get in touch with your county commissioners. But on the back side of that handout is a nice rundown of the different programs that the county offers and works on countywide, of course. But I wanted to hone in on two areas in particular. We'll go to the next slide, which talks about our mission, vision, and values. We created a new mission, vision, and values and goals statement recently over the last year, and it really focuses on three core areas: safety, health and well-being, and stewardship, because these areas really are the heart of what we do on the Board of County Commissioners and throughout the county. Our vision stresses words like innovation, resiliency, efficiency, inclusivity. Why? Because we want to make sure that we're working hard on your behalf, that we're good stewards of taxpayer dollars, of our natural resources, and more. There's one area in particular that I wanted to zero in on. If you turn over your handout as it's making its way toward you, there's a section on health, and we can go to our next slide. I thought I'd highlight a project that was underway just in the last year, and it was a first of its kind collaboration by the Jeffco Public Health Department, Lutheran, and St. Anthony Hospital. They took a close look at data, they talked to subject matter experts in health, they talked to our community, and they really looked at our strengths as a county in terms of health and wellness and areas for improvement. And you can see some of those strengths and areas for improvement on this slide. The good news, and I particularly like this one as the mother of a 16-year-old, the rate of teens giving birth is down. Access to parks and recreation, of course, is tremendous. We have more than almost 30 open space parks, 230 miles of hiking trails across Jefferson County, healthy eating, and provider availability. And I know that provider availability remains an issue in our mountain communities and is a challenge. We just saw in Evergreen the closure of Kaiser, for example, so that is an issue we need to look at. Areas for improvement: access to mental health care and substance use treatment are major. The opioid epidemic is certainly an issue that we're looking at in Jefferson County. We have the fourth highest number of related deaths that are related to substance abuse. That includes opioid use. And we're one of the top counties in the state when it comes to teen vaping, which is a concern, and our public health board declared it an epidemic in Jefferson County. Colorado, unfortunately, has the distinction of being #1 in the nation. So we're looking at those issues and how we can work with our schools and our public health department and others to ensure we are addressing teen vaping. Food insecurity is another issue. 1 in 10 Jefferson County residents don't know where their next meal is. And if any of you have had the opportunity to tour the Mountain Resource Center and talk to those who work in the food bank, you'll hear those stories firsthand of individuals who are struggling. And as we have an aging population, we see more aging adults as well looking for help. We're going to skip through the next 2 slides, which are about the budget. We'll come back and revisit that another time. But we can go to the next one. Thanks, Melanie. We're especially excited about this. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I know Shirley's going to talk more about it in a minute. But the Board of County Commissioners approved Jeffco Open Space Grant to conduct a feasibility study of converting the Myers Ranch House into a welcome center. We are so excited. Again, I won't go into lots of detail, but I have to tell you, we heard from the Jeffco Open Space Advisory Committee that this is the first time they ever heard a presentation that received a round of applause. So kudos to Melanie and to Shirley for their great work. And then finally, we just wanted to provide a quick update on Flying J Ranch wildfire mitigation and forest restoration. Jeffco Open Space and Denver Mountain Parks received a grant. We doing okay on time? 1 minute? All right. Received a grant of $64,000 to work on overgrown forests, wildfire mitigation, reducing the risk, improving wildlife habitat. About 17 acres were covered in 2018. We have more to go as we move forward, and we hope to have this project completed by 2020. And last but not least, on our next slide, we wanted to share a couple of events that we have coming up. We have our first ever State of the County event, which is already sold out. That'll be on March 13th. We have some town halls coming up, including a telephone town hall in the spring. That'll be sometime in April. We'll get those dates to you. You can contact me directly for that information, or you can look at our website. We'll post it there as well. Our hearings are held Tuesday at 8 a.m. And you can also, anyone on Twitter and Facebook in the audience? If you are, you can find our handle at Jeffco Colorado. So thank you all very much. Look forward to talking with you after the presentations tonight.
Thank you, Leslie. And next we have Senator Tammy Story to give you a legislative update. Tammy.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for being here and giving up part of your evening to attend. I think everybody's pretty busy and has their own regular schedule, and so I appreciate you coming out tonight, especially in advance of our next snow. My name is Tammy Story, and I'm the senator for this area, for the mountain area of Jeffco. It's Senate District 16. It also includes southern Boulder County, Superior, El Dorado Springs, and Eldora, all of Gilpin County, and then the southwest corner of Denver County. So just I'll give you a quick update on several things. Just want to share the committees that I am serving on down at the Senate. I am the vice chair of the Senate Education Committee. I also serve on the Business, Labor, and Technology Committee and on the Capital Development Committee, and I'm also on the Advisory Committee to the Colorado Commission on Higher Education. And so while we are in session from early January until early May, the balance of the year we will spend either sitting on interim committees or continuing to work with the committees that we currently sit with, because there will be work still to do. We will be working with our ideas and working with bill drafters to continue to work on bills that we want to be able to present in the following session. We'll be meeting with constituents. We'll continue to have town halls. There will still be a lot of things that we're doing. We just won't have kind of the regular schedule and routine that we have during the session. And so I have been working on a multitude of bills. I have 4 or 5 of them that have passed through the Senate and are, maybe it's 4 that have passed through the Senate and are on into the House. I have one that will be signed by the governor tomorrow. And then I have a couple of House bills that I am co-priming that are, so they started in the House and they're in the Senate now. And so things seem to be moving along. A couple others that are a little further back in the pipeline, a couple that haven't been introduced yet. The bill that's going to be signed by the governor tomorrow is an interdistrict transportation bill that's focused on foster care students. And it's actually a cleanup bill from one that passed last year, and there just needed to be an adjustment relative to an amendment that was inserted that needed to be removed. And so my bill is taking care of that piece, so it's just a cleanup one. I also have a bill that is focused on area technical colleges, and it's a grant program, because there are 3 area technical colleges here in Colorado that don't have a clear path for capital funding, so additional building needs. And so that would be Emily Griffith, which is in Denver, Pickens, which is in Aurora, and then Rocky Mountain Technical College, I think it's called, Rocky Mountain Technical College, that's in near Delta. And so anyway, this bill provides for a grant program where they submit their construction needs, whether it's an expansion or renovation or even a new build. And it also includes opportunities for equipment purchases for their programming. And they would submit their request annually together, those 3 schools, to CDE, and then they would submit to the state along with their regular budget requests. So that's an important thing for those schools. And then I have another bill that is focused on an information delivery to state employees who might have federal loans. So if any of you have a federal loan for college and would qualify for the federal loan forgiveness program but don't know anything about it, and you've been working as a state employee either for the state of Colorado or for one of the state higher institutions here in Colorado, or you work for a nonprofit, or you're active military service, all of those would qualify for federal loan forgiveness. The issue is that only about 1% of the people who actually qualify for federal loan forgiveness have actually latched onto that program. So there's a huge number of people out there who might qualify but just don't have enough information about it. So if you happen to know somebody who might be in that boat, like they could be a current student right now with a federal loan, with the potential that they might work as a teacher in one of our K-12 institutions, or they might be shooting for a professor or working at a state institution or working for the state, any of those things, you have to let them know that this is coming and that they should start receiving information about that federal loan forgiveness program. Anyway, I have several other bills going too, but I also wanted to mention that I'm doing some regular town halls scattered around the district. The next one is this weekend on Saturday. It's actually in Superior. And then 2 weeks later on, which I don't remember what the date is, 1 second. The one this weekend, sorry. This weekend is the 9th, so then the next one is going to be on the 16th. That one is in Evergreen, right? Yes, in Evergreen, and at that one also I'll be doing that with Representative Cutter, who's here and will speak in a few minutes, and then also Commissioner Dahlkemper, who you just heard from, and that's at 10 o'clock and is at Buchanan Rec Center. And then a couple weeks later, I have another one in Littleton, I believe, and no, I'm missing one. After Evergreen, it's Golden, well anyway, it doesn't matter. Get on the website through the Colorado General Assembly. You can contact me and I can get that information to you, but would be delighted to have you there. We try to have some different programs presented, as well as having, you know, a couple of us who are elected officials, whoever might be in that particular area, present as well. So really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you, and I'm gonna pass the microphone on and move on to the next speaker. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Tammy. And Representative Lisa Cutter is next, and she has not been to one of our town hall meetings before, so please welcome her.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here tonight. So much stuff. I don't know how they crammed all that in. There's lots to talk about. First, I want to say that I am at the legislature. I have a friend that always talks about being from the most beautiful county. She's from Summit County, so it's a little joke. How can I not have the most beautiful county? I have Staunton State Park, which I got to hear about. I love Staunton. And Red Rocks. So obviously ours is the very best district. So I think you'll agree. So I just want to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing. There's tons and tons going on at the legislature, but some highlights. I'm on the Wildfire Mitigation Committee, which will meet in the summer. We have not yet met, but I'm really excited to be part of that. And I would invite you all to please keep in touch with me if you have issues or concerns or input that might be helpful for that. I'll really look to the community. So stay tuned for information on that. I'm also a part of the Education and Public Health Committees. Those are my other committee assignments. And just personally really, so I'm very interested in those things and have a lot of legislation I'm working on in those areas. And then also, I'm personally really interested in the environment and conservation, which I think speaks to lots of constituents, lots of people in the district. So some of the highlights that I'm working on specifically, bills, well, let me back up for a minute. I just want to say, I know Commissioner Dahlkemper was talking about some of the issues that people are concerned with, and I was scribbling notes, I can't read right now, but I was scribbling notes about all the things that we're doing in the legislature to answer some of those things. So that was really exciting to me to hear that. I know access to healthcare is a big deal, and we have been focusing on that. I want you guys to know that the talk and the different bills floating around, a lot of them are focused on healthcare, access to healthcare, affordability of healthcare, so that we are very aware and very concerned with these issues as well, and know these are things that are going to be helpful to our constituents. So lots of talk around that. Personally, I'm working on a few bills. There's three things that I'm working on that will improve access to healthcare. One just passed through the House, and it'll be headed over to the Senate. It was also a bipartisan bill, so I'm really proud of that, my very first bill. It's physicians' assistants, and sort of expanding the access to them. Actually, it's relaxing the supervisory standards for physicians to supervise their physicians' assistants, if that makes sense. So ultimately, so there's a whole bunch of different things around that, and ultimately it will make it easier for there to be more physicians' assistants, which will reduce costs and expand your access, especially in rural communities. That's a really important thing. So I'm very excited about that one. I'm working also on behavioral mental health licensing, which sounds super exciting, but it too will have it will result in improved access. It's a very complicated process right now, and so by streamlining the licensing for all these various mental health providers and entities, it'll make it a lot easier for people to get care and for professionals to practice in various areas of mental and behavioral health. The last one is behavioral and mental health parity. So in other words, whatever your health insurance company provides to you for regular health coverage, they need to provide the same similar benefits in mental health coverage. And so they're supposed to be doing that now, but it's not really happening in practice. And so we're working on a pretty large piece of legislation to address that. So I'm excited about that one. The other two that I think will be particularly interesting to this community would be recycling. There's just some of you know that we're one of the worst recycling percentage rates in the country. Isn't that awful? We live in such a green, beautiful, environmentally conscious state, and our recycling rates are terrible. Partly that's because of infrastructure. So we're working on some things to incentivize infrastructure and hopefully up that recycling rate. And then also broadband access. How many of you have issues with your broadband access? So we're working really hard. I'm pairing up with Representative Brianna Tutone from another district here in Jeffco to work on that. She's been really working hard to come up with some creative ways to roll that out. So I just want to end by saying that I really want to talk to you. I want to hear about what's important to you. Please sign up for my newsletter if you're not already on it. You can go to my website, cutterforcolorado.com. And there's 2 T's, Cutter for Colorado. And you can sign up for the newsletter that way. You can email me anytime. And please look at the town hall schedule and come tell me what's important to you. I'd love to work on things with you this summer. So thank you very much for having me tonight.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so we're going to learn a little bit about local Native American sacred trees and places tonight. Janet Schoen is going to give the presentation, so welcome, Janet.
Thank you. I'm going to go help Melanie start the slideshow if she can. My slideshow is exactly 5 minutes, so I won't get the shepherd's hook. I am very privileged to be a co-founder and CEO of the Association for Native American Sacred Trees and Places. We are headquartered at Glen Isle Resort in Bailey, right in this area, and even though we're an international organization. This, you can just, there you go. So I'm going to let the slideshow do a lot of the talking because these trees speak for themselves and these sites. Our organization was founded just about a year and a half ago with these 2 gentlemen, an author of these 2 books about Ute prayer trees and Native American sacred trees, and Dr. James Jefferson, a Southern Ute elder, who remembers learning about these amazing trees, these living artifacts that we have an abundance of in this area. For about 10,000 years before Europeans came to the United States, Ute Indians lived in this area. And they left a lot of artifacts, but they also left these amazing trees that they shaped, sometimes over generations, into very unique kinds of shapes for specific reasons. There were trail marker trees. There were trees that showed where water was. There were trees that showed burial sites. And this is a tree that's 12.5 inches in diameter, and it was dated through dendrochronology at 365 years old. So even though you think they're not old enough, our ponderosa pines can live to be 900 years old. So a lot of the trees that we see in this area that are shaped by Native Americans are ponderosa pine, but they also shaped Douglas fir and all kinds of other trees, cottonwoods, aspen, but most of those are not old enough in this time to survive. This one is in Staunton State Park. It shows where water is. This one is in Spring Creek, which is by Buffalo Creek, and it's on a site where there actually are also a circle of cedar trees, which indicated a bear dance area. These trees are extraordinary because they tell us about the culture of Native Americans in this area. Many people in this area have them in their backyard, their front yard. This was in an evergreen. All of those rocks were also placed by Native Americans. This one is in Lakewood. I love that one by the homestead. We have all kinds of funny shapes that we don't really know what they mean. So sometimes these are called mystery trees. They're also called spirit trees, Ute prayer trees. This one is in Flying J Ranch. This one is on my house, and it's a frame tree showing where a water marker tree is. This is also on my land. It's a birthing tree. They used these trees the women would hold on to the Y shape and squat to give birth.
So some of these trees also tell us about celestial events, and they also have led us to extraordinary stone features. There is in the Elk Falls area a 12-foot diameter pure quartz medicine wheel. We have on our property, we have a guardian with a face that's going to come up in a minute that is in front of the birthing area. We have Moki steps, which are the steps that people would climb up to get to a lookout point or to create smoke for signaling. The other kinds of trees that are in this area are medicinal trees. The bark was used for medicine, for pitch, to make torches. Here's the medicine wheel in pine. And they've led us to caves that have smoke, so you can see that that's where they signal. This is the face, the guardian stone. Can you guys see that face? And that's the other profile on that same rock. And this is the Moki steps. So the trees are usually found in conjunction, or the stone features are usually found in conjunction. This, I love that one. It's a giant hot tub. This is a solstice indicator. So at the summertime, the sun shines through the hole and just right at noon and beams onto a rock right behind that solstice stone. So there's all kinds of signs that they've left us, and it's really exciting to find out about it. So the Association for Native American Sacred Trees and Places is a membership organization. We do research, we document where they are, we try to teach people how to conserve these trees, and we do tree tours. I have a sign-up sheet back there and more information about the organization, and we'd love to have you guys join us and find out more. Thanks.
Thank you, Janet. Isn't that amazing? I love this. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Midway House at Meyer Ranch. The one on the right, Can you imagine? Can you imagine driving west on Highway 285 into the mountains from Denver, coming around that last bend, and all of a sudden, the landscape opens up to the beautiful expanse of Meyer Ranch Open Space Park. And then, a welcome to Conifer sign. And Conifer's historic gateway icon, the Midway House at Meyer Ranch. This yellow Victorian farmhouse, registered as being built in 1889, is on the National Register of Historic Places. Norm and Ethel Meyer and daughter Sharon, all dear friends of mine, and also Conifer icons, have told me so many times, it's just an iconic property, and we've always said that we never really owned it. Conifer owned it. Whether summer or winter, the Midway House at Meyer Ranch exudes the beauty and the history of Conifer, where tourists feel welcome and residents know they've reached their destination. It's home. A number of organizations in Conifer are coming together, joining forces in the fight to keep this landmark alive and to shout from the Midway House rooftop about all of the amazing things we have to offer. From incredible Jefferson County open space parks to trails within and between those parks. These trails are for walkers and bikers and horseback riders. There are dog parks, zip lines, frisbee golf, wedding and other event venues, plus wonderful eateries, quaint businesses, and everything else the Conifer area has to offer. From Meyer Ranch to Flying J, to Beaver Ranch, to Reynolds Park, to Pine Valley Park, and beyond. We are so lucky to have these in our backyard. Conifer Area Council has been working with Jefferson County Open Space to plan, build, and connect trails in the Conifer area since 2006. when the community overwhelmingly told us how important trails were to them. A dedicated group of people, along with Open Space, have developed a Trails Master Plan, including trails to connect all of the open space parks, and even a neighborhood trail that has been built into and within Meyer Ranch Park from Snyder Avenue. Meyer Ranch is the beginning, and yet right in the middle of the trail network that we have been working on together. This is the perfect place for our community to call home and a perfect place to welcome our visitors. Can you imagine? The Midway House at Meyer Ranch, a welcome and information center to tell the history of the hills in Conifer, first occupied by Arapaho, Ute, and Cheyenne tribes who used the area as a hunting ground. Native Americans were followed by merchants, trappers, ranchers, and miners. In the mid to late 1800s, trails widened into roadways, opening up so many possibilities for those in search of adventure and wealth. The Midway House at Meyer Ranch, a welcome and information center to tell residents and visitors alike what our community has to offer, from open space parks to trails, to eateries, to businesses, and everything else Conifer has to offer. The Midway House at Meyer Ranch. Our vision is to have a welcome and information center at the most historic, iconic, and welcoming property in the Conifer area, where community organizations can call home and residents and tourists alike have a place to go for information about our community and have a place to become connected to our community. Imagine the possibilities. We went in asking for $25,000, but had been awarded $50,000 planning grant from Jefferson County Open Space to start the process to make this a reality. We'll keep you updated on the progress, and we'll be asking for your help. Thank you. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much it for this evening. I would again like to thank Beaver Ranch Park for their community support of tonight's town hall meeting. And I know that the Conifer Rotary has a St. Patrick's Day dinner on Saturday night, the 16th, I believe. Our next town hall meeting is Wednesday, April 17th, coming up fast since we kind of went a little bit later on this one. There's a lot going on with Planning Commission hearings and Board of County Commissioner hearings, so you've got the information. We'll see you around the community and probably at the Taj Mahal. So thank you very much for coming tonight, and stick around to talk to the speakers.